20 என்ன பில்டிங் கட்ட மாட்டாங்க அங்கே தான் ஒன்றா
ఇక్కడ అన్ని రకాల వేస్ట్ మిక్స్ అయిపోయి ఉంటుంది. 6 months నుంచి నేను ఈ పని చేస్తున్నాను. మార్నింగ్ 10కి అలా వస్తాము. ఇక్కడ అన్ని రకాల వేస్ట్ సపరేట్ చేస్తాం, కానీ బట్టల వేస్ట్ సపరేట్ చేయడం మాత్రం కొంచెం కష్టంగా ఉంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే మిగతా వేస్ట్ అయితే ఏటుకవి సపరేట్ అవుతాయి, కానీ ఈ బట్టల వేస్ట్ మాత్రం అన్ని రకాలతో కలిసిపోయి మిక్స్ అయిపోయి స్మెల్ ఎక్కువగా వచ్చేస్తుంది. చాలా దారుణంగా ఉంటుంది సపరేట్ చేయడానికి కూడా. ఎంత సపరేట్ చేసినా వేస్ట్ అలా వస్తూనే ఉంటుంది. ఇంకా మేము ఏం చేస్తామంటే కొన్నిసార్లు ఈ వేస్ట్ అంతా సపరేట్ చేయలేక అలానే వదిలేస్తాము. మా ఓనర్స్ అన్నీ వేరే చోటకి తీసుకెళ్ళి డంప్ చేసేస్తారు.
More concerned about plastic waste, but textile waste is equally daunting. Bengaluru is dealing with unprecedented levels of textile waste, which is polluting the city's water, soil, and air. Textile waste accounts for 4% of Bengaluru's municipal solid waste. Bengaluru generates 220 tons of textile waste every single day.
इधर 3 साल से फैक्ट्री है. इधर वेस्ट जाता है, स्क्रैप ले जाता है. वो वेस्ट लेके जाके क्या करता पता नहीं हमारे को, तो वो वेस्ट पूरा चले जाता है उधर से. ज़्यादा वेस्ट गए तो एक 8% जाता है, एक 7% जाता है वेस्ट. अब कैसा डिज़ाइन बनता है उसके लिए पैसा वेस्ट चले जाता है.
According to the Indian Textile Journal, the amount of textile waste generated in India is approximately 80,000 to 85,000 tons per year, and this requires proper treatment in addition to the landfill disposal. Karnataka's textile industry contributes 20% of the country's garment production, which is valued at $1.56 billion. Textiles account for approximately 4% of the weight of the household bin. In that, 50% of the textiles thrown are recyclable, but only 25% of the waste is recycled in the procedure. Why? What is the reason? Fast fashion. Because of increased consumption, we are also importing garments from other countries. The negative impact of fast fashion includes the use of cheap, toxic textile dyes, which has an impact on agriculture and clean water. While the production of fabrics such as polyester, nylon, and synthetic contributes to global warming, when washed, they can shed microfibers, which contributes to the rising level of plastics in our ocean. Cotton requires a large amount of water and pesticides. As a result, there is an increased risk of drought, extreme stress on water basins, and resource competition between business and local communities. Polluted water bodies are also contaminating groundwater resources.
The pollution board or like any kind of a local authority who doesn't keep a tab onto it, there is a cost involved into like a removal of all this negative aspect of the industry. So in there, when the people to save some money, they dump all this waste, the dye and whatever the clothing waste and everything in the dumping yard without properly channelizing and everything, which is because that causes a huge stress on the environment. Sometimes they burn all the clothes and everything. That automatically the air pollution that will cause a huge distress on the soil and the water and the people living and everything. We should be very carefully taking it. Well, you are driven by only material word or like a profit and everything. And that is what, when the civilized society, sometimes the whole industry is very big, the people are like driving so much of money and everything. There's always a like a tug of war, like a, always, this will be always there, the ups and downs of the, where people won't listen, all this happens. That is always challenging for anyone.
Textile waste includes both pre and post consumption waste. Cotton is not the only material found in textile waste. There are other materials as well. We buy jeans, polyester, synthetic, and wool clothing, all of which are blended with multiple types of fabrics. Making any technology currently available to separate and recycle these materials is extremely difficult. There is also the matter of dyes. Colored fabrics are not recyclable in all recycling infrastructure. All of this is more strictly regulated in pre-consumer waste. So, it's easier and better to get it from the factory and recycle it, rather than getting it from the residents and start recycling.
There aren't enough recyclers who take the waste, so there is no value to working in textile waste. So even if you buy pure cotton shorts or whatever, you are still not going to be able to recycle it 100%. But it's a step towards when the infrastructure is available, then you can sort of recycle mono materials easier. My hope is that we stop relying on linear change of supply, which means that produce, wear, dispose, and go into like produce, wear, recycle, and reproduce from that. But that we are still decades away from that kind of technology, in my opinion. It's not, there is no recycling infrastructure available for post-consumer textile waste. Or there is very little available. Whatever can be reused is being reused, some of it is being repaired and reused. And the percentage of what is left, which is I think about 30% or so, ends up being used as ways of cleaning vehicles along the waste ecosystem, or is being sent off to landfill. Recycling mechanism, all of these are linear mechanisms of disposal. I wish there was an easier answer to tell you that yes, pre-consumer waste is being managed and post-consumer waste is not being managed, but it's not that easy. We have enough textile waste recycling facilities in India. Or most of what India's textile waste is recycled, imported textile waste and not domestic. And it is very rarely post-consumer textile waste. It's always post-production.
People are only aware of plastic, garbage, and other similar issues. It will help to restore the environment if we can implement dustbins for textile waste as well. Giving used clothing to a textile bank, charity shops, Chindiwala will help to reduce waste. Textile recycling also creates job opportunities. Look for a recycled content when purchasing a garment. Textile waste is a problem not only in Bangalore, but also in India and around the world.